starting it with Taylor, pretty epic.
Yeah.
And
epic.
the start of, like, during that recording, the entire time I'm planning, like, I'm going to ask this woman to marry me after this. So
thank you to our wives and fiancés for allowing us to make fools of ourselves each and every week. And
hopefully we haven't made too much of a fool for the household.
Yeah.
All right. Come back to New Heights. We got a special episode with me and Jason in the same room. This never fucking happens. This never happens. It is the best.
There's like a scent to you that I just like being around.
It's called Louis Vuitton Imagination.
Do you know that perfumes actually use foul or rotten things in their perfumes because it lasts longer and elicits certain pheromone responses out of the nostrils?
This show is brought to you by Expedia. That's right, the place you go to go places. We're your hosts. I'm Travis Kelce. This is my big brother, Jason Kelce.
Hey.
Jason always knows a little bit too much about everything. And you just caught that firsthand here in the early stages of this interview.
I know just enough to be dumb enough.
Yeah, there we go. You gotta love it, man. I don't have a script in front of me, so I think this is where I say follow the show on all social media at New Heights with one S for fun clips throughout the week. And Jason is now going to tell you what we have coming up this week.
That's right, 92%ers. We've got another great episode. Yeah! We are ending this season with an all-time guest, the most accomplished, greatest football player in the history of the game. Season finale. Tom Brady is on the show! Yeah!
Oh, you talking about Tom Brady?
That's right. All you Patriots that love Travis Kelce, Tom Brady's coming on the show. You're going to love it.
Hey, Pats
and,
fans.
yeah, let's get into some new news. Before we get to that. All right, new news brought to you by American Express. It's the end of the road. The season is finally done. This season is finally done of New Heights. Do you have a favorite highlight?
I mean, the live show is it's
I mean, it
fresh,
just happened.
It's fresh, but god damn, that was a fucking fun
It was.
one,
It was a great job. Shout out to Amazon. Shout out to Enterprise. Everybody who helped put that thing on, the set design. It was so much fun. I didn't know I was going to work out. Yeah. We were talking, the whole team. We were talking about we're going to have a soccer goal up there. We're going to have a basketball hoop. We're going to have turf. I'm like, how the fuck is this going to work? And it ended up going off without a hitch, surprisingly.
And thankfully, you actually dunked, which...
Was it an actual dunk? Does that actually...
No, it was 100% actual dunk. It was 100%. You've done it. You've dunked. You have done it. So you dunked, and on top of that, you stoned Alex Morgan. So two
Pregnant Alex Morgan.
Which was a little bit of a low blow, but you know what? You got to take your chance when you can.
Listen, Tim coached me, and he said, you got to get in their head. I got the bobsled suit out, so that threw her out of her game right away. And then it was also a shorter net, so I didn't have to leap as far.
Alex went up there like, all right, I'm just going to fire one in. Hopefully he doesn't. And you fucking full on.
Oh, I'm going all in.
Guess the right side. Airborne. The
look on her face.
There's got to be a slow-mo.
The look on Alex's face
Somebody's got to have a slow-mo of that.
The funniest part was the reaction from the crowd. They didn't know whether to cheer or not.
Immediately,
like, ooh.
And you get up like you won the Super Bowl.
I just stopped a fucking penalty kick from a fucking World Cup champion, the best goal scorer in U.S. women's history.
That's crazy. All right. You're hilarious. I'm sorry for my brother, Alex. I'm sorry.
And I get to say that the first time I ever dunked a basketball was in the Orpheum Theater in front of thousands of people.
With an alley-oop.
From Will Ferrell. It's insane.
What life are we living?
Couldn't have happened in a better way.
It's been a hell of a year.
When's the first time you dunked? Roxborough Middle School?
Roxborough Middle School, yeah. Like 8th grade.
That's probably pretty
cool, too. I was like 5'11".
Yeah.
Just kind of just
daily
casually.
throw the alley-oop?
I mean, yeah, it was daily, yeah. No, we were, man, it's so long ago. I think I remember being in a drenched sweat. Like I had gym class, I had been trying to do this for my entire time in gym class.
Yeah.
And I finally got it. Very similar to you. Not as much pull on the rim, but flushed it in,
Flushed it in. Good penultimate step.
Yep. No, I was a 1 foot jumper back then.
1 foot?
Yeah.
Not so left or right?
Start from the fucking rafters and just
build up as much speed as possible. All right, well, we will be back for season 5 with all new episodes starting September 2nd. Travis is off to training camp. For everybody that is new to the show, we take this time off because Travis is way too busy to record a podcast. He's getting ready for an NFL season, and we do not have the time. Training camp at the NFL He's going to go to St. Joe's University.
St. Joe, Missouri. Missouri Western State
not St.
University.
Joe, Philadelphia, St. Joe, Missouri.
Shout out to the Griffins.
And where they will be, knee deep in sweat and all sorts of other bodily fluids that nobody else wants to be around.
What? How is that?
All day. They'll sleep together. They might, play tummy sticks. I don't know what might happen. It's very...
Tummy sticks? That sounds like a Philly thing. We never had that.
You never did that?
No, we never played tummy sticks. What's that?
You're missing out.
This guy's insane.
Stick around to the end of the episode for some exclusive clips from our live show. We are ending the season with some of our favorite live No Dumb Questions.
Nice. Ending the season with Tom Brady, pretty epic. Yes. Starting it with Taylor, pretty epic.
Yeah.
And epic. The start of, during that recording, the entire time I'm planning... I'm going to ask this woman to marry me after this. So, those were probably two other, really cool moments of this season. Yeah. Obviously, the beginning of it with Taylor is one I'll remember forever. So,
well, it's by far our most viewed episode of all time.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was incredible. I've never been more
What was one that sticks out to you throughout the year? Can't use either one of mine. Put his ass on the spot. We had a lot of good ones, Jason.
I know we did have a lot of good ones.
Use your brain.
What would what is going to be even comparable to the two that you just named? I don't know.
We did a lot of actors.
DiCaprio's kind of nice.
Dude, but I can't
George Clooney. I don't know.
George Clooney, Affleck. Do we have Sandler on again?
Yeah.
No. That was the previous one?
Yeah.
Will was the previous one, or he went on this show?
No, that was previous.
God damn it.
Jackass.
Johnny Knoxville. That's another one. Very current.
Allen, Riggle, Hart,
Hedger.
Rock,
Dude, that...
Reeves, Allen Iverson,
God damn.
Teller, Aaron Andrews, Kristen Thompson.
From the rafters, this has been a hell of a year.
Kylie again, multiple times, Kylie.
Yeah.
I talk to her every day.
Don't you do that to Kylie.
Randy Moss, Jameis
You should
Winston.
be lucky you get to talk to Kylie every day.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston was great. There's Gosling. They're all so good.
Greg and George.
Conan.
God damn. Yeah, there's too many. I don't even know where to go.
Oh, nice. That was a fun little memory lane there for season. What is this? 4.
4. We're going on to 5.
There we go. This time's flying.
The Riggle and Hart going back and forth was one of my. That was a very fun
was
moment.
a blast.
They were great together.
Riggle and Kevin Hart, man.
Yeah,
that was too funny. The Fixins, man.
Yeah, the Fixins. Well, that's it for new news brought to you by American Express. It's time, Travis, to toss it to our guest.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
toss it to old Tom Brady. Jason, you want to do the intro?
Sure. This conversation is brought to you by Xfinity. Howdy, our guest today is the 6'4" quarterback from the University of Michigan. Woo-hoo! The 199th pick of the 2000 NFL Draft, 15-time Pro Bowler, 2009 NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 3-time NFL MVP, only starting quarterback to win the Super Bowl in both the AFC and the NFC.
Shit.
He's got 7 Super Bowl championships, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 92%ers. Please welcome the most decorated man in the history of our game, Tom Brady!
We got the GOAT!
Yes.
Man, I got to hire you to come on the road with me. I've never had an intro like that. I've done a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I've never had an intro like that.
Hey, just
only the best
sign
for
me
you,
up,
big
baby.
dog.
Sign me up.
Only the best for you, big dog. We got to settle it right here, right now, though. You're 1-1 against the Kelce brothers in the Super Bowl, dog. How do we figure this out? How do we break the tie? We got to get out on the golf course somewhere. We got to get a few drinking games going. What do we got to do?
I think we should. I'm definitely down for some golf with you too. You know I love that. Although Trav, I have seen your swing, and I'm afraid that you would just roll over me. I mean, you got that thing dialed. Jay, I don't know. You probably have had a little more time post career, but Trav's got a ridiculous golf swing.
Trav is very. I keep telling people he's gonna be a plus handicap when he really gets done playing. He's a stick.
Yeah,
and he just got this new driver. We played at Bel Air yesterday, smoking it like 360. I'm like, what?
Damn.
Same driver, new flight.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just going straight.
You've had a unique athleticism, Trav. I will say that.
I appreciate that.
silky smooth route runner, like incredible feel out there. Like I think if I played with you, you would have had 110, 120 a year. And not that you don't have that with Patrick, but I liked your style of play because I feel like there was a way you ran routes and you always had an ability to like, feel the coverage and then turn in when they told you to turn up, but who cared because you're open. And Julian did that a little for me. Wes did that a lot for me. Some guys don't really have that feel, but
Oh yeah.
I just watch you play and I'm like, yeah, like that. Just like that.
I appreciate that, big guy. And I definitely took a lot of like notes from Jules and Edelman and even Gronk watching you guys were unbelievable at being on the same page.
Yeah.
And you could just tell you guys were in sync, and the guys that were running the routes were that even if they made a decision that wasn't, so-called in the playbook, essentially, it felt like everybody was always friendly and making it definitive enough for you. And, but hey, I appreciate that, big dog. He's the kind of guy that
I feel like Jason had the same in his own way, like the center style of play, his own unique way of getting the job done. And Jay, you probably weren't the biggest guy, but you're always played with great leverage. Always communication was probably on point. I don't think I would have motherfucked you very often. I motherfucked the centers a lot, but I feel like you would have gone right back at me and I'd have been stuck because I'd have been like, oh shit, he's probably right.
No, I listen, we talked about this earlier this year. I know you're being funny a little bit, but we were just talking about being on the same page. And so we were talking training camp earlier. Tom and the Patriots had a joint practice with us early on. And he talking about motherfucking people. We're having the Patriots come in. And the biggest thing we took away was the leadership and ownership that Tom took over everything. Mm-hmm. And this is just in like a training camp practice. And like, hey, motherfucker, come in motion. Like he was yelling at guys, not going in motion, not doing the right thing. You could tell you guys were so dialed in as a group, and it all started with you. And I would have gladly been motherfucked, to be honest with you.
That's the thing. You gotta be willing to get motherfucked out here, man. You gotta be willing to. That's why I love having my guy Eric Bieniemy back in the building, man. Because guys are getting motherfucked all over the field, and all of a sudden you get a little bit more sense of urgency going, and you get a little more focused in. Like, oh shit, I can't be the one getting motherfucked today. Like,
I know. And Trav, I think that was kind of like when I started, that was the norm for football players, like high school, college, pros. It was all about like
old school ball coach. Yeah.
Where's the urgency to get it right? And Bill would always say something really good to us as a team. He'd always come in and say, you have Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, Friday. He would say, come in on Wednesday morning, be like, listen, don't go out there and mess up a bunch of things today. We can't do them over on Thursday. We got a whole nother pile of, stuff to put in Thursday. And then on Friday, same thing, like lock in. Today's a big day. And that just created always this urgency for our team. And I felt like, I took a lot of things away from my time in New England. And, obviously I thought I had like a lot like you guys, you have great teammates and you have people that are going to be friends for life because you were all doing this really challenging thing together. But there was like an urgency, whether it was May to have the best OTA we could have or end of July when we had our first training camp. Like we had to have great practices every day because the competition is year round in the NFL. And if we were going to beat the other good teams, well, they were having good practices. So we needed to have a good practice. And just day in and day out, I think there was definitely a stress to it. There was an intensity, a stress to practice. Like I can't go out there and just, suck today at practice because I set the tone for the whole team. So I developed like this competitive urgency within myself. And you can feel that certainly all those years in, Jay, when we would come and practice against you guys. But I was locked in and I just felt like if I did that, well, then the other guys had to do it. And if they had to do it, then the coaches had to do it. And then it just kind of volleyed off one another. And, we didn't win them all, but we were competitive probably in most, in almost all the games I played. And I think it was for those reasons.
Hell yeah. Being able to challenge that fucking inner competitor every fucking day and about every single detail. You're doing that in the dog days, man. That's just going to show up in the fucking games for sure.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time. When your best player is the guy that is doing all this and he cares that much and he's holding, that's the guy who usually sets the standard. And if he's just naturally that gifted and he doesn't have all these other things that all these other guys also need to be applying, and whether it's the time in studying, the time in knowing what you're doing, the time in communicating, all that stuff, that's got to be from the top down. And when the quarterback does it, it just makes
Gonna get Mendoza out there motherfucking some guys or what?
Hey!
I know. I think it's in him. I think it's
Hell yeah,
mother,
man.
mother frickin' him.
Yeah,
or whatever.
motherfucker. There we go. There we go. There we go.
I mean, we'll get it out of him somehow.
Hell yeah, man. We got
Or it
to.
won't take that long in the NFL to like be like, all right, this is the way stuff gets done, and this is the urgency I got to create. 'Cause
Mother freaking him is so good, man.
I think too, Trav, like if you think about it, a lot of guys have had so many people tell them how good they are. And something that's unique in the NFL, like you're a high school player, you're probably the player on your team. So it all goes pretty well. Then you go to college and you're probably one of the top 5 on your team. So everything goes pretty well. But you finally get to the pros, you got an agent that tells you how good you are all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have a significant other that tells you how good you are. You have a mom that tells you how good you are. You have a dad. So in the end, who really tells you the truth?
Yeah.
And who tells you where you need to get better? And that's the role of the head coach. Like he has to be the one that says, I don't give a shit what, the blog says or the daily writer. I care about what I think because it's my vision for the team. And again, I was blessed to have Coach Belichick, who I believe is the greatest head coach of all time. I think Andy's like that to a degree.
Same.
I know he's a different style, but there's part of it that position, like you can't be like, hey man, let's go out there and have a great day. Like we're gonna have so much fun. And like, something goes wrong and it's like, oh, don't worry, we'll fix it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone leaves every day feeling like they were great and they did great. But the reality is they're not really prepared for what's coming on Sunday because NFL football is hard.
Yeah.
And to beat the Chiefs or to beat the Eagles in a Super Bowl is hard. If you play one of the best teams in the league, and in this instance, like I played both you guys in Super Bowl, you better play every play great to give yourself a chance. If you play 20% of those plays poorly, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And why waste all the time through April, through May, through June? There's a big commitment to make that everybody sacrifices if you're not going to go out there to try to beat the best teams.
Right.
You could play pretty average against the teams that don't really have a chance. But the teams that are really great, the 6 or 8 every year that have a chance, you better have an urgency to beat those teams because that's the real competition in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. God, Tom's getting me fired up.
I told you, dude. I told you. It's something about it. I mean, you talk about maximize your opportunity. I mean, you had the greatest statistical performance ever by a quarterback in the Super Bowl when you played us. Nick Foles caught some type of magical thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know what was happening with Nicky that day, but he was on fire. But what was that like? Having
It
that
still
kind
it
of
still
shootout?
goes down as my favorite football game ever to be
Wow.
in. Like seriously, that game was insane to be in that stadium and watch you guys duke it out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's when you win the Super Bowl, you guys played better than we did that day. So there's never any, may the best team win. I always kind of say that, like, who you rooting for? May the best team win. I don't know. You guys were the best team that day. It was really hard for us because we did play good on offense. But defensively, we just couldn't figure out a way. You guys kept making big plays. The running back makes this great catch in the end zone. And,
Right.
I think it was Alshon. Was Alshon on the team? He caught the touchdown pass.
Catches,
And
man.
Ertz caught a touchdown pass.
He had a couple 4th down conversions. Yeah.
Yeah, you were just always one step ahead of us the whole day. And we finally caught you in the 4th quarter
Yep.
on a touchdown throw to Gronk.
Yep.
And then you guys got that 4th down
Yes.
and then went down and scored. And I was like, we finally caught up. And it took us all day to catch up. And when in the NFL, when you're behind, you do feel like you're unsettled. You never feel in control if you're behind in a game.
Right.
Right.
In that game, we were basically behind the entire day. So even on the bench, and even though we were moving the ball well, I still felt like we were not in control of the game. And then all of a sudden, we finally got the lead. And then you guys went right down the field, scored, and then Brandon Graham made a great rush on Shaq and strip sacked me, and that was it.
I mean, you talk about feeling uneasy, being behind. We were ahead, and I was uneasy because I saw you on the other sideline. And I'm like, if there's one guy that's good playing from behind, this is the guy. So, what do you think about your career? I don't know that there's anybody. I mean, Pat is certainly up there in the 2-minute plays, but
Oh yeah.
what do you think made you so good in those situations?
First of all, I had great teammates that played great in those situations, and we worked on it. We practiced, we walked through, and there's always something nice about 2-minute. In some ways, it gives the quarterback a lot of rhythm to play in when things are going well. When you're in a good rhythm in 2-minute, because it's not like they can run a lot of variety of defenses. And I was all about preparation. So I felt like if I could get you into a 2-minute situation and I could get you to play defense and I could get you the clock running and you would have to signal and like I would be like, all right, I'm gonna snap it before they're ready, and let's hit some completions. And again, I just push our guys to constantly. I was gonna find the open receiver because I could read coverages really well, and I was always gonna try to throw to the soft spot of the defense. I mean, I could. One of my biggest weakness was my lack of mobility and my lack of ability to scramble and make a play. And in many ways, that turned into the best thing that I did, which was force me to over prepare, to read defenses and to throw to open guys. Like I didn't have the option to like pull it down and run. So I had to make sure we had guys open before the ball was snapped. So I was constantly looking at the coverage. I was constantly seeing the defensive scheme and then trying to, get our guys in the best position. And I would throw it, Gronk would catch it. I would throw it, Jules would catch it. I would throw it, Danny would catch it. I would throw it. List goes on. I mean, I played with so many great players, but it was really a great unit. And, that was some of the best part of football was just 2-minute drives. And it was a chance for you to go out and be like, all right, game's on the line, man. This is what we do in the schoolyard, but game's on the line. Let's see what we got.
Well, in that game, the BG sacks, but even after that, you guys got the ball back. And up until that ball fell on the ground, that last Hail Mary attempt, I'm still like, dude, Tom could still find a way to get this done. Like, I still, I'm not even believing it was over then. But let's get to some of the good stuff. 7-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
Oldest Super Bowl champion, I believe. Is that correct? Oldest starting quarterback Super Bowl champion.
No, I saw it firsthand.
Do you have a favorite one? What is your favorite?
Yeah, do you got a favorite one out of all of them?
I don't want to sound arrogant because that's not. I would say they're all different, first of all, and they're all different, meaningful because they're kind of tell a different story.
Oh yeah.
I think one that was like the 2014 one against the Seahawks. You'd probably say like the Atlanta one where we came back from all those, down a bunch of points. But the one, I won 3 really early, and it was kind of like. What's so hard about the NFL? I sound like a little dick. I mean, no idea. I mean, it was like I went to Michigan. We were good in Michigan, and I won 2 bowl games. And then I got to the pros. My first year, we won the Super Bowl, and then my next year we didn't, and then we won 2 back to back. So I was kind of like this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to start the season, work hard, and then win. That's okay, big deal.
Nice.
But then we lost in 2007 to the Giants. Then we lost in 2011 to the Giants. And then we played Seattle in the 2014. So we'd gone 10 years, and I had 3 times we won it. Then I had 2 where we lost it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man. And then 2014 came, and we're going against the Legion of Boom, and we're down, I think, 10 in the fourth quarter, 10 in the fourth quarter. Right. And then we end up having just the most incredible, last 20 minutes of the game. Defense played incredible. I mean, that stop down at the goal line, it went from like, again, we were losing for most of the game. We finally got a lead in the fourth quarter. They drove right down the field. And then Dante Hightower made one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, tackling Marshawn, getting blocked, had like one shoulder out, somehow got Marshawn on the ground, which like 10 guys can't get Marshawn on the ground. Exactly. Dante did it with like one shoulder.
Yeah.
And then Malcolm makes one of the greatest defensive plays in the history of football. And everyone after the game talked about, not handing the ball to Marshawn. I was like, how about that play by Malcolm
Let's
Butler
celebrate
to
this
pull
play.
the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah, to pull the trigger on that
as
a rookie to like go over the top of the pick and the acceleration burst. And then
get there,
it was all or nothing. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm a receiver and I come out of a break, I'm always trying to minimize the opportunity for the defender to beat my angle.
Yeah, he's got to go through you to get to the ball.
He's got to go through me. That's a part of my size and my strength in being a pass catcher. And I thought he had a good angle coming in. Now, maybe he could have gone in there with a little bit more tempo, but it's kind of like one of those plays where it's like the RPOs, you want to kind of come in with some whatever it was. But I thought the angle was good, and Malcolm just fucking shot it, man. And that goes to like I'm sure the film breakdowns and all the.
I love the story behind it. They talked about prepping for that exact situation before it happened. I don't know if that was like in a 30 for 30 or where I saw Bill talking about that, but I love when the preparation carries over. And then, the moment there, you could not have a bigger moment for a young player to really go out of his way to take a chance.
Tom, I've always wanted to ask you this because you have this ability, and we kind of talked about it before, about just like the rhythm in which you always commanded the offense. It's just, you feel like you've always got control of the game, and everybody's kind of going at your rhythm. Was there a point in your career where you started to understand that, or was it always just kind of within your preparation how you guys ran the offense?
My college experience was really unique. My first 3 years, I didn't play at all at Michigan. And again, if I was around these days, I probably would have transferred to another school because,
I hear you.
it was simple to do. But, Michigan was a really tough experience in terms of I had to grow up. I didn't have brothers. I had three sisters. I was the youngest. I got babied by my mom. I got babied by my dad. I got babied by my sisters. I go to Michigan, which is a long way from California. It's freezing cold. I didn't have a jacket when I went there. And I sit on the bench my first year, and I really had, I would call it like a lot of self-defeating attitudes and behaviors. I always had an excuse. I always had, coach doesn't want me in there.
Creep in real easy.
Yeah. They're not giving me the opportunity. And I had a sports psychologist who unfortunately he passed away about a year ago. His name was Greg Harden. And he started really psychology on me. And I would go into his office every Tuesday and he would say, Tom, I like you, you work hard, but like you have a shitty attitude. And how about you start worrying about what you can control and stop talking about the other quarterbacks, stop talking about the coaches not putting you in. How about you take advantage of the opportunities you get? And every time you go in there, you bring energy, you bring enthusiasm. If they give you 3 reps, you do the best with the 3 you get. Quit bitching about you only getting 3 or you going in there with the backup receivers. No one cares. You go in there, you bring energy, you treat practice like it's a game. You go out to that practice field like it's the big house and you're playing Ohio State. If you throw a touchdown in the 2-minute in practice, you celebrate like it's the game.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, well, I never approached like that. And he goes, you're going to gain, a lot of trust and a lot of confidence from your teammates if you start treating that way because it's going to improve your play. Sure enough, my energy started getting way better. I was bringing juice. I had the right attitude. And then it started to improve. And my second year, it got way better. My third year, I competed with Brian Greasy to be the starter. Brian beat me out. Our team went undefeated, won a national championship. But I learned a lot. Watched Brian be a great leader. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, fuck, I'm bringing the juice, man, every day.
Come
Boom,
on,
I'm bringing
baby,
that
bring the
practice. I'm bringing,
juice.
every day. And that's what I did. And then I was pretty good, my 4th and 5th year. Then I went to the pros. And again, the pros is like, everyone is like, hey, man, it's a good day. Like, don't cover me on scout team. And here comes Tom Brady, scout team quarterback. And I'm trying to beat up the defense.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. Again, that helped me like get better. And then finally going into my second year, I won the backup job because I was so competitive and I was so fiery and no one was going to unseat Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
He signed a 10-year, $100 million contract in 2001.
All right now.
I mean, that was a lot of money then.
Yeah,
and then Drew got hurt in the second game and I came on. And I remember the defensive players like William McGinnis would come up to me and Lawyer Malloy, and they'd be like, Tommy, like, man, you just keep doing what you're doing, man. So they could just sense that like there was a part of me that really loved it. I was obsessed with the sport. I loved the practicing. And then I loved the leadership part. And I really loved the preparation. Then I got really into the game. And Peyton Manning was the guy that I always looked up to, as a kind of a rival, because I thought he was the epitome of a field general. He got his team in the right play. And then I watch him, he's throwing for all these touchdowns every year. So it was like, if I could get the mental part right, I was getting good at the emotional, the competitive stamina, the leadership. And then my physical body started to catch up to me. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of all came together. And like, I would say 2003, I started to turn into like what I would become. Yeah. But it was a process. It was like, I would say it was definitely built by, a lot of people that supported me in the journey. And then I was just really open to learning. I was curious about everything. And then I wanted to go out there and be my very best. And so it's just a progression of a lot of things, a lot of people, and then kind of awesome, putting it all to use.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love that story from college, man. That it resonates so much, not only with me, but I've seen guys not handle that conversation the right way. It's easy to be negative and to not only just point fingers, but to look at what's going on around you and create an excuse. But in the reality of things, if you come in with the right fucking mindset and the right energy, man, one is you're going to enjoy what you do 10 times more. But then on top of that, it's infectious, man. That energy is infectious. You could I mean, everywhere you've gone, you've had success, and you've been a part of like more than just yourself in bringing wins and everything like that. But those memories that you create because of the energy and the mindset that you bring into the building, that's what, you know, the teammates and the people you go to work with are going to remember you most for.
Well, it's also a productive mindset for a player.
Yeah.
Like, this is always one of the things that really sucks when you start losing games and you see the finger pointing start, or like, hey, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. And you have to try and like remain like, dude, just control what you can control. Like, be the best center you can be. And if you can be a way to help somebody by putting them in a better situation, being a great teammate, but dude, and do your job. I know that was like Bill's like main thing forever.
Yeah, totally.
But like, when you're thinking about all these reasons that are outside of your control, what the fuck good is that doing anybody?
Totally.
It does. It's so pointless. It is so pointless.
There was a great quote that, you know, I saw that was like, every brick in the road that you put down is an opportunity for you to travel that road to be successful. But every brick you put in a wall is just an excuse that blocks your opportunity to get to where you want to get to go.
I love that.
And I think you create excuses, and they're very built in. And again, think about how we're living these days, like with these guys that come in, that everybody, their agents, their mom, dad, their sisters, their brothers, they're willing. Okay, you lose a game, and losing sucks. It feels horrible for all of us. And it's amazing to have the support from people to come in and go, hey, man, it's not your fault. It was the defense's fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Not your fault. It was the coach's fault. Not your fault. It was the ref's fault. Not your fault. And the reality is, maybe that helps for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But in the end, it doesn't change any of the outcomes. And I always feel like, if you really want to grow up, just take it all on yourself. Just say, no, it's my fault. I got to do better.
Yeah.
I got to do better. I got to, like, I heard Wemby talk the other day after the game, and he said, like, and they had a great finals. It was, it was a tough game.
Yeah.
Fucking Knicks were on fire. They won however many, 15 to 16
their
playoff
quarters
games.
were
13
insane.
or 14.
Keep going.
Insane. And then, there was a part of Wemby said, we dominated every game. And I'm like, it's not the point.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just, and I love Wemby. Don't get me wrong. I
he's
love
gonna
him.
be
Like,
great,
he is
yeah.
the most mature. He's going to have a tremendous career. But it's also like, I always think, when I see people talk, how would I answer that question?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality for everybody is like, they were better than we were.
Yeah.
And we got to do a better job. That's simple. Like, that's actually very motivating.
Yeah.
Like, they were better. We need to do better. Great.
Yes.
That's what it takes to win a championship. We were better. You guys were better than us, Jason, when we played you. Trav, like, we had a better day than you. It actually doesn't mean we're a better team. We had a better day.
But it sparks a fire if you have the right approach. Like that game, I took the same approach in my mind. Like, it doesn't matter what the team did. What could I have done better that day to be more accountable, to light a fire in my team, to create a better whatever it was on the side? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you immediately have to look at yourself in the mirror and aggressively attack yourself, you know, and it'll make you feel better knowing that, you dissected and you've done even more to better yourself, to be more prepared, to be more accountable. You'll feel better about the next opportunity. Yeah.
And even as it translates, and for both you guys, Jay, you retired, Travis, at some point you will, but like all that does translate into other parts of your life beyond. Yeah, I know.
I'm never doing it.
Keep going, baby. Keep going to the last moment, literally to the last moment. But like, I've been around great entrepreneurs as well. And I would say that attitude where they put everything back on themselves makes them very successful in business too.
Yeah.
So like, people who I've seen, and very fortunate again to be around some amazing businessmen. And like, I see the way they approach that way, and they're like, I got to do better. I got to motivate him more. I got to do this. I got to get on the floor. I got to understand that better. I got to make that decision. And I would sit there going, oh my, that sounds like the crazy part that I was.
Right.
But that's actually the only way it works.
Yep.
It's the only way that businesses work. It's the only way relationships work. It's the only way football teams work. It's the only way hockey teams work. It's like, everyone work hard, have humility, have self-awareness, know you could do better. Believe me, football, how many games have you guys walked out of and go, well, I was perfect today? Like, man, that was basically 100%.
Game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not a single game.
We all have the opportunity to be better.
Well, let's talk about some teammates of yours, big guy. I gotta hear you talk about Gronk, man. He's been one of my favorite players since he's gotten to the league. Your guys' chemistry is unbelievable. Just how he enjoys the game and how he lives life, man. I've always admired the guy from a distance, man. But what was your first impression of Gronk when he got to New England?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, there was like a big expectation of our team when he got there. Like we had like a good 10-year run. And I think we needed a big refresh of energy. And Gronk brought it. He was like free, fun loving. Like, Gronk, how he is and how you see him anywhere is how he's one of the most authentic people you ever be around.
Yeah.
And like football's hard, but Gronk always found a way to bring, kind of light to it. And Gronk was really unique. I think Gronk was the greatest blocking tight end in history.
Man.
Yeah.
Gronk could handle defensive ends. He was at the point of attack in the run game. Like, we didn't care. We would rather go to Gronk than the open side tackle a lot
That's
of times.
crazy. Yeah.
And so that's a really underrated part of his game.
Hell yeah.
And then as a pass catcher, he was never going to be like the twitchiest. So, but his straight line, when he would run seam routes or,
Rolling.
middle reads or flag routes,
Yep.
he was off the chart. So there was just part of his game that was, it was very natural for him. He was really a natural athlete. And I think our environment kind of kept him really serious, which I think that's probably a good thing for him in the end.
Yeah.
Because I think if he was on another team where the coach let him get away with a lot of stuff, Gronk maybe would have veered a little that way. But I think our team kind of made him, a little more confined, and he still had a great time. But man, I think he
Few
really
more
maximized his potential.
motherfucks in New England than other
Oh my
places,
God.
I'm sure.
It's
know.
all about
I
balance
was
too.
that-
Sometimes when you have a team that's so like very straight line, having a guy like Gronk lighten it every once in a while, and whatnot, you need that too, right?
Totally. Mike Vrabel was like that when he was at the
Braves.
Patriots.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
Braves cut it loose. He
Yeah.
was
Hell
like,
yeah.
Randy Moss was like that. Matt Light was one of the most, the funniest guys I've ever been around. He kept it light for everybody. So
Yeah, Matt's been on, I don't know if he's been on Julian and Gronk's podcast a couple of times. I've never really talked to the guy, but some of the
Seems
clips coming out, I'm
hilarious,
like, dude, this would be a fun teammate to be around for sure.
you guys got to get him on your show at some point because
All right.
he's one of a kind. He's
Fuck
an
yeah.
amazing player and teammate.
Was there any other tight end that you've ever seen like Gronk? Is he like a one of one because of
One of
his
one.
ability? And to your credit, like Connor Barron, who I played with in Philly and in college, he said the same thing years ago about Gronk. Like, he's like, dude, like normally we go up against a tight end, we're salivating. Like we have like whether he's going to be in pass pro or the run game, you do not get blocked by the tight end. And Gronk was the one guy where he's like,
He's the anomaly.
this guy
man.
is manhandling DNs.
And a lot of times too, like you would think that like he loved blocking. And I think because he didn't want to go out and run a lot of routes. He would be so tired. And he's like, hey, just keep me in and run behind me. Like, I like that. And then he'd be like just bodying people.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd be totally cool with that. But he was pretty unique. Like I really, early in my career, I had Dan Graham, who was a really good run blocker. Ben Watson, I had Kyle Brady in 2007. And then we had a little stretch. Ben was still there in 2009. And Ben was really strong and really athletic, but just wasn't at the point of attack as good as Gronk. And then we got Gronk, and Gronk was a dominating tight end. And then when we didn't have Gronk, I as a quarterback for the first time in my career realized, oh shit, like we lose those matchups all the time. Like not only is that not neutral, it's a loss. So now everything's to the open side, or now you're flashing the tight end back all the time. And again, it just limits what you're able to do. And look, that's life in the NFL. I mean, not everyone's good at everything. I mean, you got to game plan, and that's what good coaches do. You got to, everyone's got to, and if you're an elite pass catcher, that's amazing. You're going to be on the field a lot. Sometimes if you're really good at run blocking and a really good pass catcher, you could be a great player.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, he was the jack of all trades, and he was a dream piece for any offensive coordinator, both in the run game and pass game. He had a little bit of like a skip to my Lou, and he played with his tempo in his routes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his like deep crosses, or a lot of his in-breaking routes, or if he had a soft coverage on it, he would play with his tempo, and it made him feel faster in his routes. Then I learned so much from just watching him just run like deep crosses or deep cross, like basic routes, or even out routes and stuff like that. But there's only so much you can do when you watch Gronk in terms of like trying to incorporate it into your game, because the guy just had such a gift and like a feel for the run game that it's one of a kind, man. And his ability to get the inside hands, he has long arms.
Man.
He's always been strong as an ox.
Yeah.
And just the physicality to get into a bar fight every single play it's one of a kind, man.
Do you have a favorite Gronk story? I know you
got too many.
I do.
It's kind of probably hard to limit it to one, but
Let's go. What we got?
I got a good one. All right. So Gronk is he's okay. I love Gronk. Gronk didn't ever work. You know, like a lot of receivers, tight ends will work on catching drills.
Yeah.
So like, afterwards hit the jugs machine, 100 catches, and all the receivers did it. Julian would come at like 6 a.m. and throw tennis balls off the wall and do one-hand drills. I never saw Gronk ever do any catching drill, ever. And I would throw the ball, and every ball I'd throw to Gronk, like he'd have these big white gloves, right? And when he put his hands up like this, it looked like the top of a trash can that I would try to hit. And he would run across the field, and he would go, whoa, 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 with like, so he had like a smile on his face. And I throw it, and it would the ball would just stick to his hands, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it was like unbelievable. So one day, it's like it's like third year in the league, all right? And we're at practice, and I throw him a ball, and it like hits like the palm of his hands and like falls on the ground. And Gronk looks at me and is like, what was that? Like, what just happened? So he goes, Tommy, throw me the ball again. And I took the ball and I fired at him, and he caught it. And it was like he gained his confidence. Right back. He goes, okay, I'm good.
All right.
And by the way, for the rest of the career, I never saw him do a catch and drill.
There you go.
So it was like there was
his
a
drill right there.
a 5-second loss of confidence in a receiver's career, and it was like I'll never forget it. He was just like so lovable, and you're like, "Come here, man. You're fucking, you're
awesome.
unbelievable."
The laughing while he's running full speed is the most Gronk thing I've ever like felt.
Absolutely.
Like, he's just having fun going fast. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? It's like, wee.
I know.
What a dude, man.
He sure was.
Randy Moss, man.
Yeah.
Did he really come see you at the team hotel?
So Randy, when he was at the Raiders, we were playing in 06. We were playing at Minnesota, and he flew. It was a Monday night game. He flew after a game to meet in the team hotel. And of course, at the time, I'm like, I don't know. It's not like I'm the general manager or anything. Like, and he showed up, and they're like, Tommy, Randy's here. So I went and saw him. He's like, yo, man, I love the way you play, man. I want to figure out how to make it happen. And of course, I'm like, all right, like, why are you talking to me? Like, yeah, like, I love that too, but and then sure enough, like the trade goes down in 07, and we got Randy, and all of a sudden it was like, well, what can, a lot of people saying, well, he's done. What can he do? He comes into OTAs, and he wasn't in the best of shape in OTAs, like, probably not most. He probably had a few years in Oakland where, it wasn't the most motivated, so probably didn't get the best out of him. So he's kind of getting guarded by some people in OTAs, by like some guys he shouldn't be guarded by. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, when is he going to turn it on?
Right.
All of a sudden we get to training camp and we run the conditioning test, and Randy comes, he takes his shirt off. He's lean, like in shape. He's running the conditioning test like a deer. All of a sudden we get out there. It's like probably like the second week of training camp, and we run a flea flicker. And Randy's the intended receiver, and I throw it literally as far as I can. And Randy's running, he beats the safety, and Randy would always kind of lolly off the line of scrimmage, and he would always just watch the safety. So he'd lolly at the safety, and as soon as the safety either came forward or flat-footed, then Randy would just
take off.
Hit the gas.
Yeah.
So Randy hits the gas. I throw it as far as I can. Randy opens up, and just as he's sticking his arm out, he grabs his hamstring.
Oh.
And tweaks his hammy. So he misses the rest of training camp. Doesn't play a preseason game. And now it's like, all right, week 1, we still don't know what Randy can do. And we go out there against the Jets in week 1. And we had this play.
The Revis Jets, right? This is the Revis Jets.
That was Revis's rookie year. Yeah, it was Revis's rookie year. So we start the game. Randy catches a few balls, and then there was a ball on the sideline. He kind of ran like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like a deep out route, but kind of you stem it up the field, and
China
wiggle, and then you run to the side. It's probably like 18 to 20 yard throw. And they had a good rush on, and I could feel the rush coming, and I knew Randy was running an outbreaker. So I kind of like, just as I was getting hit, I threw it. And as I was going to the ground, of course, you can't see anything. And I'm thinking, all right, I kind of was throwing it out of bounds.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I hear the crowd go, oh. Being, just a foul ball,
Right.
he ends up, it's like a 20-yard gain. And at that point, I was like, this shit's going to be different
All right,
this
now
year.
here we go.
And
it
I threw a
was.
few balls. We had some routes that were one-man routes, literally play action fake, 9 people in protection.
Oh my
I was quarter at 10. And then Randy, we called one called a pistol route, where if it was too high, he ran at the near safety and then broke to the high flag or the post and ran across him.
Yep.
Or then if it was a post safety, he ran at the post safety. And if the corner stayed behind him and he felt like he wanted to go back to the high 7, he could take it. A lot of times you ran across the field, but I would have to throw it, 65 yards. And it was
get that
like,
thing out. You got to make a decision,
oh
Randy.
my God.
I was gonna say, how do you know where he's gonna go? I don't.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. And
Yeah.
he would just turn on the gas. And the great part about having a really fast receiver is when you see your receiver running fast, and I would say for the most part, NFL DBs are faster than receivers in general.
Right.
I'm not saying always, but you can't be a slow DB in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah.
Just slow DBs. You could be a receiver that's not that fast and still be productive.
Right.
You can't be a slow DB. All those guys run 4.3, high 4.3, low 4.2s, low 4.4. Sorry. So Randy, because of his speed, I knew he was faster than everybody on the field. So whenever I saw Randy's speed, I could just gauge my ball flight and the trajectory of the ball on his speed.
Yeah.
And when he started running, I just threw it as far as I could to gauge Randy's speed.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, which meant the further and higher I threw it, the better chance Randy had to catch it. For most receivers, the higher you throw it and the further, the more the DB has a chance to catch up.
Yeah, you're bringing up what I like. What really stands out with Randy is that tracking of the ball when it's in the air, right? Like that ability to like turn it into like another gear. The only other guy I've ever seen do it is Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Like those are the only two that I can think of where when that ball is up there and hanging, they just separate. Is that like, that's got to be like an underrated attribute
to be able to not slow down while you're doing that. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to put the head down, put the shoulders down and dig. It's another thing to be able to keep that speed and find the ball.
Why they could do it. They weren't digging. They were like just like gliding. Like they just did it and it still looked like normal speed. It was
I know. And what happens a lot of times when you turn your neck, you turn your shoulders.
Yeah.
So no one would say run a 40-yard dash at the combine, but turn your shoulders back to the starting line.
Yeah.
But Randy had a long neck, because he was tall. So he could kind of turn his neck, because the guys that are really thick in the traps and don't have a long neck, it's really hard for them to turn their head. When you turn your head, you typically slow down.
That's why Jason's golf swing's so tight.
Stop it.
Such a unique skill set. Crazy.
It really is, man. And you know who had a Tyreek Hill is another one.
Oh my God.
He didn't have that stride that the two we were just talking about, Deshaun.
It was different.
But his ability to find the ball and to meet it down is second to none too.
Trav, you must have seen some crazy plays in practice from him, right?
It's insane. It's insane. First, I told everybody the year we got him, I think he was a 5th or 6th round pick, and the first day we got him, it was like a little 7-on-7 in OTAs. And he caught like just like a flat route or it was like a bubble slant RPO, and he was the bubble. He caught the bubble. Nobody got within 2 arms lengths of him, and he just ran down the sideline. And I'm just sitting here like, we just got the most electric player in the draft. Like, it was insane, dog. And his ability, and you already know a lot of the practice reps is just like what you were saying, just testing out how far a quarterback can throw it, in which we can connect downfield, if he can track it, and seeing the plays that him and Mahomes would make in OTAs or in training camp, and just testing the waters to see, how far we could go. I mean, it's insane.
I remember you guys played the Chargers maybe week 1 of that year, and you were at that little Home Depot Center, whatever it is in LA, the soccer stadium.
The soccer stadium, yeah.
The soccer stadium. And he caught a slant route.
It was that,
and cribbed it.
Just
and I was like,
weaved his way
God.
down, hit the 200,
I was like,
and just
who?
fucking
Yeah.
took
Oh, I got a good story about that. So we play you guys one year, and Bill was like, all right, the calls on third down are 1 double Travis, 1 double 87.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't double Tyreek. And Tyreek went for like 200 plus that game. And you guys beat us. And Bill came in the next day and says, we're doubling Tyreek too.
Exactly.
And we are not going to let him go for 200 on us. So it was like back and forth on third down, who we were doubling. And it's so, I mean, it's kind of cool for us because you do see like, I mean, most NFL players are obviously supremely talented. And then every once in a while, you see someone who is just a little more talented than everybody else. And you go, man, that is a special talent. That's crazy.
Yes. And a lot of times it just stands out immediately.
Oh yeah, right away.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Donald is a pass rusher. I mean, is like everyone and then Aaron Donald.
Yes.
Everyone, then Randy Moss. Everyone, and then Darrell Revis. Everyone, and then Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Everyone, and then Ed Reed. It's like, even if there's a Hall of Fame, and then to me, there's like one player that's like even better than every Hall of Famer.
Deion Sanders says it best, man. You guys got to find another hall for me to be in, man. I love Prime when he says that.
I mean, it really is true. I think there's very few players that aren't like, it's not scheme dependent. It's not like, it doesn't matter who's on their team. Like that guy would have been the best of all time, regardless of where he was and who he was with.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole nother realm of football player.
I gotta ask you about one more teammate, man. One of my favorite of all time. Everywhere he goes, he wins. Joe Tooney.
Oh,
big Tooney, man. You got any good Tooney stories?
Yeah. Ohio.
I used to call him Looney Tunes. But Joe was like I think like a third round pick for us, and he played tackle at NC State. We moved him to guard. Started as a rookie. We had a great O-line coach.
Yeah,
Dante Scarnecchia. And Dante was just, I can't say enough good things about him. Like what he taught me, what he taught the offense, he gave the line so much confidence.
Awesome.
And like, 5 guys in there, you guys all play together. He gave that line confidence through his techniques, but also everything was black and white with Scar. There was no gray area. This is how we're doing it. And okay, if we can't get it that way, I'll change it. But we're going to, and everyone was so decisive. And they played well together. And Joe just came in and he embraced all that. He had, David Andrews was next to him a few times as a center. I mean, he was just the perfect guard. Size, strength. Probably he didn't have the longest arms, but it didn't matter. But we moved him to tackle one game, and he was like, I've never played tackle. And Dante said, listen, just fucking kick, get to the junction point and punch.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, that's all I got to do.
Just give us a chance, baby. That's all.
I know. And then, I mean, he was a captain, and he always did the right thing. I mean, there was like he showed up, he was, he sweated his ass off. I mean, and he was the consummate pro, and he should be a champion. He still is. He's just a great player, great guy.
We miss him as a teammate out there in KC, man. He's one of my favorite of all time. And we actually moved him to tackle for an entire season. And he took us to the Super Bowl, the last one we went to.
It wasn't the whole season, the end of the season.
Yeah, it was like
but
through the playoffs and everything.
Yes, exactly. We got to ask you another one of our favorites, Jules. Tell us about how does he go from like special team, but was a quarterback at Kent State?
QB at the Maction, baby.
Dude.
He was running the Mac, dude.
Tell us that story.
So he signed with the same agent that I had, so I knew who he was. Don Yee and Steve Dubin, who were our agents, and he was from the Bay Area, so he grew up like 5 minutes from where I grew up.
Okay.
So I knew who he was, and all of a sudden we got back, and Billy O'Brien was like, hey, we're going down to check this kid out from Kent State. And I was like, of course. So he ends up being a punt returner to get started. We have Wes already at that position when we got Julian. So of course, Wes was one of like the greatest teammates I ever had. One of the greatest receivers ever to play in football, Wes. Look at Wes's 6-year stretch with us. It was unmatched. I mean, he was incredible. And Julian comes in and he's got a chance to learn from Wes, but we didn't really need Julian that much because we had someone in that position.
Yeah.
But Julian just had a chip on his shoulder, he worked his ass off. Julian had one of the greatest work ethics of anyone I've ever seen. And so the difference is this: when you play quarterback, like Julian did in college, the ball was in his hands and now he could do something with it. When you play receiver, you have to do something to get the ball in your hands. You don't line up behind the offensive line like the running backs do. So to learn to be a receiver, to learn how to run a route, to learn how to get open, to learn how your footwork, that's like an incredibly difficult skill set. And it took him years to figure it out. And to Julian's credit, 2009, he played really well. We had a playoff game. We got our ass kicked against the Ravens. Julian was the best player on the field that day for our team. And 2010, he didn't play much. 2011, he broke his arm, didn't play much. 2012, Wes was still there, so he didn't play that much. And then finally, 2013 came. After 4 years, he played defense, he played punt returner, and then he got way better at running routes. And again, just tenacious, tough. Like Julian had juice every day. And, he built himself into one of the greatest players the Patriots ever had.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome, man.
What is there something about that body type? The like short,
Yeah.
sawed-off white guy. That's just those feet are just moving quicker. We're gonna get an option route on a guy in the slot, and they're not gonna be able to redirect as quick as this guy. Like,
You know what? In some ways, Jay, it was like because our team was built differently than a lot of others. Like we didn't always have the highest paid players. In fact, when a lot of guys would have a chance to get free agent contracts, Bill would trade those guys and let them get paid somewhere else. And then we'd have to replace them with lesser talented players. One position that's unique in the NFL is receiver.
yeah,
Like Jamar Chase makes $40 million a year. T. Higgins makes 30. Tyreek Hill was making almost 30. We didn't have those players. So we had to find production from other areas, and slot receivers in the NFL don't get paid top dollar for receiver. So in a way, we paired this team kind of receiver group with some rookies and some, I would say, more role type players at receiver, because we had these inside players, I'll call them, that played tighter to the formation that could still be very productive because they had great route trees and they were maybe not vertical speed as fast as vertical speed, but they had short area quickness. And that short area quickness is what the game's all about. I would argue, would you rather be fast or have great short area quickness? I'd rather have short area quickness.
Yeah.
Football is a game of quickness, not speed. Now,
Timing. We can be on the same time and get shit done more with that short area
Totally.
quickness and getting that showing color and getting open over the middle of the field, especially for the tight ends and the inside receivers. But
And Trav, you're 6'5", 250, 255, and you have twitchiness.
Yeah.
You had size, length, did have speed, and you did have, they couldn't arm tackle you, and you had twitchiness. Your footwork is more like a slot receiver than is a tight end.
Right.
So there's a reason why you got open, a lot like Antonio Gates always did.
man, I was just
Your
gonna
game
say,
was probably a lot like him.
100%. Another Mac guy, doggone Kent State. Kent State's getting a lot of love, man.
all right, we're running out of time. We got to get to this last section.
Yeah, we don't want to.
We got to ask. We're going to start off back in March. You also became part of the J.P. Morgan Chase Athletic Council. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, I got asked to be on a council with JP Morgan to try to influence and educate athletes to make better financial decisions. And, a lot of us grow up and look, we're good athletes and, we try our best in school, but a lot of us are a little bit
That's a great
underdeveloped
plug.
when it comes to managing our
Seriously,
money,
yeah.
making good decisions, creating budgets. And it was put together. Jalen Brunson's there, Asia Wilson, Dwayne Wade are just a few of the people involved.
Nice.
Megan Rapinoe. There's a really great group of people. I'm missing on some others. Sorry about that. But we kind of came together and we're creating opportunities for athletes for financial literacy.
I love it.
And it's pretty cool just for us to, make a difference in other people's lives. And a lot of us are blessed with people that give us great advice. Some people aren't. So we want to be that place where people go to say, okay, well, how do I make sure that I don't finish my playing career and not have any money?
Yeah.
No, seriously, and it's becoming an even bigger issue with the NIL, and kids are getting paid earlier and earlier. And a lot of these kids in college, they've never seen any type of this. I learned most of this stuff in college, right? And they're getting money before they've ever talked to anybody about it. So this is awesome, man. Very, very worthwhile.
I spent all of my first check and regretted every second and didn't have anything to show for it. All of it went to rent and fucking
some
shit that I
car or
don't even
some
have
whatever
anymore.
we bought.
No, I didn't even have a car. I stole Jason's car. That's all right. I was spending money on way dumber shit than that. At least a car would have got me to the facility on time. No, that's awesome stuff, man. And you already know it's something that's even bigger now with the college. How much they're making in college and things like that, like Jason said. But we have to ask, man, have you seen the clip? We had a guy, Ben Affleck, come on the show, one of our favorites. He mentioned a story about playing catch with you Have you seen that clip? We could probably find it here, but do you know what he's talking about?
To this day, aside from the birth of my children, that was the greatest ever.
Dude,
I was like, dude, are you? He's like, I need someone to play catch with. Happened to be on vacation at the same place with him.
So this was legit. This was as legit as it gets.
That's
you were
amazing.
you were
It was
helping
real.
Tom get ready for the
It was
season.
like, I don't know how much I was helping him. I think he was like, I'm gonna blow this dude's mouth.
I remember we were at Baker's Bay together. This was, I needed someone to catch me. We were getting ready for football season.
Hell yeah.
And I was down there. It was the summer. It was quiet. And I'm like, hey, can you catch? And he's like, I can catch, And I'm like, all right, let's go.
This is
So
good.
I got all these balls. I'm on that big field, Trav. I don't know if you saw that field.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm on the big field. They got it painted. And I'm like, all right, let's see what you got, And you're a big, he's obviously a big Patriot, loved the Red Sox. And I had known Ben for a while. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And finally, I remember getting to the end. And I was like, I want to put a little pressure on him, see what the hell happened. And I was like, all right, 4th down. Super Bowl's on the line. I'm calling your number. This is the route we're running. I think it was a flag route I gave him.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to throw it, see if you catch it. And he got running, and I put one up there, and he stretched his arm out, and he caught it. And it was, for all of us, I mean, can you imagine like us as kids just thinking we're going to get paid to play football and, throw passes. And then, think about Ben. He's thinking, going to make movies, but then he's out there with this Patriot player. And I don't know, man, life is crazy for all of us.
I was just going to say, did you know it was that big of a moment for him? Because, I mean,
I know.
All of us have that sports fandom growing up of like doing that in the moment with the guys that are doing it. Yeah. Like, I can only imagine how he felt.
You have these perspective moments. And like, I remember being out on the field. This is late in my career. And I would have, they do like those charity galas and they give away like throwing sessions. Oh, yeah. And that once they give it out, like, all right, come catch passes with Gronk, and Gronk's going to run around and he's going to teach you the art of receiving. And the guy paid like $200,000. I'll pay for an hour and do that. It was great. Donate the money to charity. And then I'm sitting there like, they pay me to throw balls to Gronk. You know what I mean? And to throw balls to Julian and to throw balls to they pay me for that. Like, never forget, you're getting balls from Patrick Mahomes. Like, people dream. And he's throwing balls to Travis Kelce. Like, let's never forget that type of perspective, because when we were kids, we didn't ever have that, growing up. Like, it was our dream to do this. And now they're paying you to do it. And they're paying you to do it with other people who are, the best in the world at what they do. So I just think that's
the dream, baby.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Right
just great perspective to keep.
I'd be remiss if we get out of this interview without bringing up the old ball coach. We haven't talked about Bill one time yet.
Yeah.
I see so many things, and this started happening while you guys were still in the league. Like, is it Bill? Is it Tom? Like, who is responsible for the greatest era of success in the history of the NFL? How do you react to those kind of clickbaity arguments, as well as what do you think of Bill and what he meant for your success?
First of all, I think he's the greatest coach that, ever, greatest head coach in terms of preparing a team to win. There was nobody better. It was my privilege to play for him as his quarterback. There's no coach I'd rather choose. And I think it's like it's just a dumb analogy. It's like, what's more important, the left tackle or the center? Like, I don't know.
Well, left tackle. We can be honest about that one.
I disagree. Jay, I think from like the coach quarterback, there's nobody more important to winning Monday through Saturday than the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in football.
And there's nobody more important on Sunday than the quarterback. Now, everybody's important. The person who washes the clothes is important. The person who drives the bus is important. The quarterback just has an outsized kind of ability to help the team win because he touches the ball so much.
Yes.
But I need everybody to do their job. Mm-hmm. But if you have bad quarterback play, it doesn't matter what else you do, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And if you have bad coaching, it doesn't matter how well the players are doing, you're going to lose. So the tactics from the coach and the accountability, and I think the head coach is the chief accountability officer of a team too. The tactics are extremely important. Trav, you could run great route into the wrong coverage and not get the ball. Oh, yeah. You have an OC that draws up bad plays because he can't beat coverages. It doesn't matter what now you'll ad lib and you'll be like, no, I'm not running out.
You know, I was right there with you. I was like,
Exactly.
we're going to make it happen. No, baby, come on now.
You're never going to be really covered. They might have you covered on paper, but
always give you an outlet.
You're definitely going to find some color to throw the ball to. Yeah. So I just think that question is like, they're all important. And there's no way I could have been the player I was without him. And I think we pushed each other to get the best out of each other. And I think he's incredible. Anyone who played underneath him would say the same thing.
Hall of Famer, should have been first ballot, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the most respected ever to fucking do it, man.
I got to ask you, you got one of my former teammates recently in New England. All right. I know now you're a Raider, but you're kind of always a Patriot.
Yeah.
What is the key? Who knows what happened with the relationship with Jalen and AJ? That's kind of between them. But for you as a quarterback, how do you manage receivers and their happiness and being involved in the offense and all of that stuff? Like, what is that from your role?
It's very difficult. And I think that's the only position on offense that requires a lot of extra energy and attention, because the running backs are going to touch the ball. The line, they're going to be engaged in every play. The tight ends, run or pass, you're going to be engaged in every play. It's the receivers who stand, 25 yards from the ball, just talking smack with the DB
the whole time,
trying to figure out, all right, I ran my ass off and didn't get the ball. And how do I stay locked in and committed to the team when I don't touch the ball? And it's a hard thing. Like, they're working hard to get the ball and they don't get it. So they get frustrated so easy. And I almost think, like, when I see these NFL off seasons, I swear to God, I think now, like, this is just deja vu. I've been seeing the same shit since 2000 when I came into the league. This guy this guy gets in trouble. He's arrested. This guy gets cut. This guy gets traded. This guy's unhappy at receiver. You know what I mean? It's like it's like Real Housewives of the NFL, and it's like it's the same script, and it's like over. And we just that position. It's like I almost want to, like, the psychology of receiver. I almost want to say, like, you're gonna catch 110 balls this year. Okay, you're 17 games. You're a great receiver. You're gonna catch 110 balls. One game you're gonna get 11, and one game you're gonna get 3. And the next game, you're probably going to get 11. Then you're going to 3. I can't have you like the happiest guy in the world when you catch 11 or the most miserable guy on the team when you catch 3. We got to look at it over the course of the year. You got to sustain, because it is a lot of emotional energy that you put out to that position to go, come on, we got it. Come on, stay locked in. Let's go, because I need you. Come on. And it's like that position takes away, if you have that volatile emotional output, it takes a lot of energy from a lot of people to keep that player really stable. So you got to, like, try to reframe it for them and just say, listen, like, you may get 3, but you're going to get 11. Or you might get 11. And then, 3. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. If they're doubling Travis, you ain't touching the ball. That's the reality. If they're butching you at the line of scrimmage with the defensive end and they've got, some ridiculous athlete over the top of you, but it frees it up for other people. Exactly. And you got to be cool with that. So, I mean, as we're going to see it again this year. Who's the next unhappy receiver? And I understand it. I mean, that's not, they want to be involved in the game, and AJ wanted to be involved in the game. I covered a lot of those Eagles games, and that passing offense that's not what that team's known for. So now he's actually going to a team where they are more known for their passing offense. So there will be maybe a little more satisfaction from him from that standpoint.
We want to get you out of here. We got one more question. We always ask everybody that comes on, what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Oh man, there's a lot of those. I had one probably in Buffalo. I was scrambling up the right sideline. Nate Clements from Ohio State. He was a cornerback. Yeah. He was a big physical corner, and I slid late. And he knocked the shit out of me. My helmet.
I remember this clip.
We got
it. I got up, the helmet. I was looking around. I got taught in college, like, get your ass up. Don't ever let the defenders, know you're.
Yeah.
And I was like, got up, and I was like, holy shit! Like,
no helmet on.
No helmet.
I can only imagine the face you were making. Like, it's the helmet sometimes hides the
Put that head down.
That's right. And then figure it all out. That was the one.
Tom, cannot thank you enough. Dude. Really appreciate you coming on. This is an all-timer for us.
All-timer, man.
We can't thank you enough. Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate the time, the stories, dog. You're the best, dude.
Yeah, I love you guys. Good luck with everything, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, sounds good. Alrighty, thank you to Tom Brady. Once again, this conversation was brought to you by Xfinity. Trav, I told you, I saw him earlier this year.
He's just the fucking best, and he's just he's so good with like
words.
Yeah. Does that come with Michigan?
I mean,
how did he get that?
Typically, I mean, he's probably I mean, Michigan does probably.
I didn't get that. Cincy.
No, Tom I told you, I met him earlier this year, and like I've always heard from everybody how like just intense he is, and like how much he cares, and like the type of player he was.
Yeah.
And he's still like that. Like you meet him,
captivating.
like he is so engaged in the conversation. He loves football so much, talking about it, his teammates, his time, and he's so good at articulating all of these themes and what made him successful.
Yeah.
Those teams successful.
There's so many good bits on what he said that you could fucking just, all you high school kids out there, bro, listen to what he's saying, man. Don't be a negative Nancy or bringing that weak ass energy into the building or into school, into life.
And it's just so hard because he's so damn good looking. I try to listen to what he's saying, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, how are you the best football player of all time, a model? Did you see him on the runway the other day?
Yeah.
He's literally walking down the runway and looks just like a model.
Gucci. How
many gifts can one man have?
I don't know, but
I got popular being a dumbass.
Ditto. Even dumber dumbass.
Shout out to Tom. That was incredible. Awesome moment to have him on the show. Once again, shout out. Thank you for supporting and sponsoring the live show.
Yes. Nothing parties like a rental.
Once again, that clip of Live No Dumb Questions was brought to you by Enterprise. And that wraps up another show and a season of New Heights. Thank you to all the 92%ers for tuning in. Thank you to our wonderful crew for putting this show on each and every week. It could not be possible without you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to our wives and fiancés for allowing us to make fools of ourselves each and every week. And
hopefully we haven't made too much of a fool for the household. Yeah. All right. Once again, New Heights is a Wondery show brought to you by Expedia, the place you go places. 92%ers, thank you so much for tuning in each and every single week. We'll see you guys next year with our 200th episode on the horizon, man. It's crazy, dog. It's absolutely crazy. You guys are crazy. We appreciate you.
In a highly anticipated special episode of the New Heights podcast, hosts Jason and Travis Kelce welcomed NFL legend and 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. The star-studded lineup brought together 3 of football's most prominent and beloved personalities for a wide-ranging conversation that expertly balanced deep professional insights with light-hearted personal moments. The initial segment of the episode focused heavily on football, legacy, and the intense demands of competing at the highest level of professional sports. Drawing on Brady's unprecedented, multi-decade career, the trio delved into the core leadership lessons and the unwavering champion's mindset required to sustain excellence in the NFL. Brady shared candid reflections on his journey, his approach to teamwork, and his ongoing transition into life after football. The brothers, both deeply accomplished athletes in their own right, bonded with Brady over shared gridiron experiences, making for a compelling segment that offered fans a rare inside look into the psychology of modern sports legends. However, the episode took an unexpected, heartfelt, and ultimately viral turn during a more casual segment of the show. While discussing his personal life and routine, Travis Kelce casually referred to international pop superstar Taylor Swift as "my wife" for the very first time publicly on the podcast. The casual, offhand nature of the comment caught everyone off guard, most notably Travis's older brother and co-host Jason Kelce. Jason's immediate, over-the-top shocked reaction instantly stole the spotlight, becoming the undisputed highlight of the entire broadcast. What followed was a wave of genuine laughter, affectionate teasing, and emotional sincerity between the two brothers. Travis's comment sparked a broader, wholesome discussion about his high-profile relationship, with both brothers sharing heartfelt reflections on Travis's personal growth, happiness, and the unique reality of navigating a romance in the global spotlight. The moment added a profoundly human element to the show, juxtaposing the intense football talk of the earlier segments with pure domestic joy and strong family bonds. The episode successfully blended these distinct elements, combining hard-hitting football analysis, the effortless chemistry of brotherhood, and genuinely wholesome relationship updates. It concluded on an incredibly positive note, with Jason and Travis expressing their immense gratitude to Tom Brady for taking the time to share his wisdom and stories. Furthermore, the episode wrapped up with an outpouring of excitement from both brothers regarding the future, highlighting their optimism for Travis and Taylor's journey ahead. Ultimately, the special broadcast delivered everything New Heights fans have come to love: elite sports insight, raw brotherly love, and a massive, heartwarming pop culture milestone.